and today we're talking about the physical body. Um, the physical vessel that houses our souls. The body's nucleus is the pancreas, and the body's function is motion.
Yeah, we talked about pancreas last week, I guess, in details. But just to remind, pancreas is the nucleus of the physical body because it's very mysterious because all the so-called thoughts are disseminating information in pancreas mainly. So from there it goes.
Yeah, so our pancreas absorbs these thoughts. Thoughts are souls. So our pancreas absorbs these thoughts, and the pancreas actually touches all of our major organs and everything inside of our torso area. Um, so it absorbs these thoughts, and then it sends it to the appropriate organs to process that information for the various places it needs at that moment.
With the help of the emotions.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I think emotions is next, actually.
So with the help of the emotion, it's going to be carried into other organs, brains of the other organs, and the main brain to be rationalized, reasoned with, make sense of, not feeling it, but
Yeah.
to
To
make
use
sense of this
logic.
reality. Yeah. Make sense of this reality. Anyway,
The pancreas in the physical body, as on a scientific level, has two main functions. It has the exocrine function that helps in digestion, and the endocrine function that regulates the blood sugar. So Chinese culture, they call the pancreas the switchboard, which if the Chinese are saying that the pancreas is that important, we should probably pay attention. There are 8 components to the physical body. The first prime component is the movement of heart and blood. Movement of is, I mean, basically the body is designed to move. It is for motion. So that is our primary purpose in this physical body, is to move. So the first movement is the movement of heart and blood. That's pretty self-explanatory. Our heart is like our main ticker, and then we have the blood that you know uh, takes oxygen and other elements to all the parts of the body that need it.
if you don't mind, I'll interject a little.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, uh, the heart is not connected to anything for itself to move. It has its own brain to regulate itself.
Yeah, yeah. We have a heart
Okay.
brain, a gut brain, a brain.
A brain.
um, the second component is the movement of the brain and electrical and chemical impulses. So our cells are specialized to conduct electrical currents, and electricity is required for the nervous system to send signals throughout the body and within the brain, making it possible for us to move our body, process information, and feel sensations. So obviously the body is where we're going to feel all of our physical sensations that the spirit brings us. Um, so the brain and electrical chemical impulses are important for obviously the nervous system and making sure that we have all the information at the right times. If something's hot, cold, those kind of things.
They're saying that 95% of our information in our reality is through observation, but I would disagree with that because I think that I feel that I'm not going to put a percentage on it, but most of our observation are probably like felt through our skin. Skin is the biggest organ in our body. So, yeah, eyesight and observation through eyes, it's important. Obviously, we can observe lots of things, but the skin creates the most information that we collect in a daily basis.
I think empaths would understand this probably a lot more deeply, just because we feel those things so much deeper that you can feel when someone doesn't isn't in a good mood, or like you can just instantly feel those kind of things when you walk into a room,
Yeah.
or some presence is behind you that you don't see with your eyes, but you feel something isn't right behind you, through your skin. So I mean, it's those sensations that um I
I mean,
feel are really.
you can
Go
even
ahead.
feel it in when you're in a chat or in a text message on your phone. You know, you can feel it through there too. It's not even just limited to being in the same room, right? So
Feel
yeah,
it through pictures. You
definitely.
can
Like,
feel it through
why
all
are
kinds
you
of
coming
things.
across that way? Like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, what's wrong with you today? No.
Right. Ooh, you feel off. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, now that we're talking about the body, I must mention the difference between frequency and vibration. Frequency is created by sound, and vibration is created by organs. The pulse, and I hope we're not gonna get confused on this. Oh, a vibrating frequency. It does not exist. So, frequency is created by the sound, and we
Mhm.
cannot perceive much of it. So if people say, "Well, I have a frequency, whatever," we can't perceive that much of it. DNA or whatever they try to say. It's a vibration created by our organs, including our DNA. It's the molecular structure of our DNA is some sort of an organ. Everything has a soul, uh, not as a human soul, but a cellular soul, or it's not created with compassion and humbleness and forgiveness, but everything has a soul as long as it's a living, not a rock, and it is called an organ. Virus is an organ, and it creates pulses, vibration. Does not create frequencies.
I would say the frequencies are the ringing that people hear in their ears. That would be a frequency.
See, and that feels right because I know lately my vibration has my whole body has literally like felt like it's buzzing, like just at a
Mhm.
higher rate than it usually does, So yeah. And
Yeah.
I've also been hearing things that I don't usually hear, and it's yeah. So I
It,
understand
it,
what you're saying.
yeah, it's like a I don't know, an organ, like a drum
Well,
that you beat
yeah.
a drum. It
If
Mhm.
you
creates a
if you go to a concert and you're by the big speakers, you can feel the vibration
Mhm.
of the music. Whereas,
Yeah.
you don't feel the frequency.
right.
Okay.
No.
So, but you can hear the frequency of the
Mhm.
sound civilization ringing in your ears. There's millions of crystals just singing their own song. But
Yeah, that's a sound.
that's, yeah, a frequency. So, yeah, anyway.
There's a lot more to it. I might not even know how much. I just know that there's a difference
Well,
between frequency and vibration. So,
even
Right.
Tesla said everything is frequency and vibration.
and vibration.
Mhm.
Because I heard a lot of speaking of vibration, the frequency of the vibration, and I'm like really getting confused in my head because
Because they're two different things.
yeah, how can it be a frequency of a vibration? But I, hey, might be, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. Yeah, it's two different things.
Yep.
Well,
Agreed.
speaking of vibrations, the movement of the lungs is the third one.
Yes.
um, so our lungs are designed to bring air into our bodies. It's the spirit bringing in oxygen and nitrogen, expelling carbon dioxide to support the plant life. So, in essence, our movement of our lungs helps, the plant life as well, which is really awesome. Which I think we all learned that in school, but
And let's talk about the air.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about nitrogen. I think a lot of people when they're talking about people put certain people on oxygen because they can't breathe well. And I think, a lot of that is, and this is actually, you actually brought this to my attention, I think, initially. when we oxidize things, it turns brown faster. So nitrogen makes up 78% of the air that we breathe. So
Hmm.
it's pretty essential for plants and animals to survive. And it's also one of the building blocks of life. So it's also used in fertilizer. So, I mean, there's all these benefits of nitrogen. And if there's 78% of nitrogen in our air that we breathe, then that tells me that people on oxygen aren't getting adequate nitrogen to support their life.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so,
I
I mean,
know.
that just go ahead.
I went to an oxygen bar when I lived in Las Vegas. It was actually prior to my car accident in 2007. I don't know what made me go there, but I went and I felt so weird. Like, it, I did not like it, and I will never do it again. Never do it again.
Yeah. I mean, they have those oxygen bars at different, drinking places. They've got oxygen pumped into casinos. Like, but where's the nitrogen? What is your
Right.
intention with all of this oxygen other than getting people to stay awake and spend more money and drink more? You know what I mean?
What is the balance?
Hmm.
Right.
When actually nitrogen is the major part of what we breathe, so they're not balancing. But what I want to make a really good point about this is because they're talking about antioxidants. Well, let's talk about antioxidants. Um, why do we need antioxidants? Is because the molecules of oxygen that we breathe from the air, it penetrates through our lungs. The ones that are not processed by our lungs, it penetrates through our lungs and it goes straight, breaking down because they're molecular parts. It breaks down our DNA, and that DNA is repaired through during the sleep by the adrenaline. But adrenaline is the only chemical that can repair DNA, as far as I know, and uh, that's because the oxygen breaks everything, like she just said. It turns everything brown. And
I mean, think of a banana or an apple. If you cut a banana open and you leave it there for a while, it's just going to start turning brown. So I imagine if we're pumping our bodies full of just oxygen, we're just speeding up the aging process. Yeah.
so therefore they wanted to convince us with antioxidants, but they don't actually educate us about what happens with the oxygen that we're breathing. And they're giving us the oxygen masks and stuff. That's speeding up the process.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all there is. I understand that some people cannot breathe, but it has to be some sort of air, not oxygen.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story, though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, and
Um,
it makes you think about it too when it comes to the nitrate, nitrogen, whatever. Um, that they've been manipulating and engineering our vegetables, fruits and vegetables for how long with all these chemicals and stuff like that. So, what are they pumping into this stuff that's pulling the nitrate out that's also doing this? You know?
right. Hmm.
Just my thought
they
process.
got they got a little problem with engineering food. That's why they go to the shots. Can I say the word vaccine? They got a little problem with the food because we got the most powerful acid in our digestive system. It's called the sulfuric acid that destroys everything, and we can control it
Hmm.
through a bacterial. It's a whole process. So they can't. Nothing goes through. Doesn't matter how much they try to screw up with our food. Nothing goes through
Right.
through the sulfuric acid.
We're pretty
Good,
resilient.
it was pretty resilient, yes, as biological
No matter what they
people,
throw at us.
no matter what.
Guess we can thank the Anunnaki for that part, maybe. part of it, maybe. I don't know.
I think that
Maybe it's half and half
we
at this
we, we,
point. Who
we,
knows?
we were before they're genetically.
Yeah.
try to, yeah, they just try to make us a little more rational.
Yeah, I
And
think that backfired.
yeah, they kind of, well, they know they've been fired. But the acids and the glands and all the hormones and everything, we already have it millions of years as a species. So, but yeah, they can engineer whatever they want to engineer about the food. We're pretty resilient. Of course, it's not good. It's gonna make you addicted to some foods.
Or it just tastes like cardboard.
Yeah, but of course, it's not
Tomatoes
good.
don't taste like they did when we were kids.
Yeah,
None of
but
the food
that's
does now. It doesn't taste like it did when we were kids. My dad, I was talking to my dad about it, and he said wheat. He said it's been chemically processed and re-engineered so many times. It doesn't have near the same amount of the little germs or whatever it is, the wheat germ of the
Yeah.
piece that helps it to
it's
grow and have all its nutrients. He said it doesn't even have, I think he said an eighth of what it used to have, or a third of what, fourth, third. I don't remember what he said, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. It doesn't even mold like it used to when we were kids. Like it takes what, two,
Right?
3, 4 weeks for it to even begin to try to mold. Like even
When I
cheese.
buy
I remember when we
vegetables,
were kids,
yeah, cheese would
cheese
get real
would
moldy.
mold within the week, and now you can go the same amount of time as bread. Like it what?
Or
Ew,
longer,
you know.
or longer,
Right.
depending on the
It's,
cheese.
that makes you wonder, like, what is going on? Like, we're good, we're not that
Well,
good,
yeah,
you know?
well, not 90%. I'm sorry, but 90% of it has to do with money. It doesn't have to do with the government or anything. Money. They're just greedy. They want they want that production and more production and consuming and production. It's just money. That
Hmm.
that's a business decision.
yeah. When business decisions get in the way of people's health
Yeah,
and longevity of life, eh,
yeah. That I'm not going to blame on government for this one. So
I'm sure they had their hand in it though.
yeah, well, probably.
They have their hand in
Ninety.
Oh,
everything.
Monsanto.
Mhm.
Well, there's a whole bunch of
Okay,
companies we could list off.
to talk about it, we have to say that the government of United States is the corporation of the United
Right.
States.
Yes, and
So,
has been since
mm,
1880 something. Yep,
1871. Yeah. Not only
1870.
that, but
Okay,
all corporations
close.
are driving the government through the lobbyists. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bluntly in your face that they're driving this country. Yeah.
Number 4 is the movement of the liver. The liver is the largest solid organ in the body, and it removes all of our toxins from our body's blood supply. It maintains a healthy blood sugar level and regulates blood clotting, and it performs hundreds of other vital functions, of course. Um, I look at the liver and the mind in a similar way as they must be cleansed on a regular basis. um,
Hmm.
filtering the unnecessary information out of the body while sorting important enzymes and storing the information that is beneficial to the body and soul. The liver is also in charge of emotional transformation and equilibrium of anger. There's a balance to how much anger we can handle. So,
It's being
Right.
transferred. You should be
And
transferred pretty fast.
yeah, but the
and
liver helps with
sometimes
that.
and sometimes we just don't know how to do anything but internalize it. So we
It's
do
called
our
passive
best,
anger.
but
It's called passive anger. We're
yeah.
going to talk about emotions.
Yeah,
How,
Hmm.
emotions will
how
be
all,
big.
yeah, will be big. How all these functions and where they're processed. So, yeah, passive anger is sadness and depression. So creates blood disorders. Anyway,
Perfect reason not to hold stuff in.
one point on a liver
Right.
that you said perfectly is the largest solid like organ, like internal
Solid.
organ, because the skin is the largest organ. That's all I wanted to
Okay.
mention about
Number 5 is the movement of kidneys. The kidneys are essential to cleansing toxins and transforming waste to urine, as well as storing life. Sometimes our life force or chi gets stagnant in our lower backs, which can hurt, meaning the kidneys are of being affected. And this is because life or chi that has been stuck, we need to get moving physically, drink lots of water and ground to get that life chi moving again. Um, the kidneys are also in charge of the emotional transformation and equilibrium of anxiety, just to throw it in there. Do you have anything to add to that one?
Yeah, I have the kidneys also are in connection with our reproductive system. Those two go hand in hand. So the kidney and the ego, on the other hand, works pretty well. So the ego can drain the kidneys out of life. So when you feel drained, you might look a little bit where exactly you over or under your ego under or overperform in importance, in honor, principles, whatever,
Right.
What do you feel? Yeah. What do you feel about your righteousness, the morality of
Right.
this righteousness?
Okay.
But what do you feel? That has a lot to do with your kidneys because these kidneys and reproductive system are connected to your ego in the matter that the other entities like the free will and so on, they're not as much given as much importance. They just use the kidneys for their own purposes for million of years. So
And that leads right into the next one, which is the movement of the genitals. um, the sexual current and the emotional current of passion and anger will start from the tailbone, winding up like a serpent or kundalini. It goes up the spine where they meet at the base of the brain. Hold on, I lost my place. It weaves up the spine and they meet at the base of the brain, creating sexual desire for both genders. So, that whole winding up your spine
Snake.
for
well, let's name what are those whiners.
yeah.
They're like the sexual energy and the passion energy. Passion / anger are one and the same. Passion / anger are one and the same. We're going to talk about emotions. But whether you call it anger or you call it passion is the same thing. It's up to us how we use it. We use it as a violent thing, a destructive thing, or you use it as a passion, as the transforming joy, or we use it
For
constructive assertiveness and principles, or you
So
use
that's
it
how you
as
use.
passive. Passive. Yeah,
So that's how you
anger and
use
passion.
anger for positivity is change it into passion.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yay.
actually one of the lines of the Kundalini. One of the lines of the Kundalini
Interesting.
that comes to the tailbone is the emotional side of it, and the other one, which is passion, not anxiety, but it's passion. And the other line is the sexual part. So they whirl around your spinal cord.
I think that's where people get confused with makeup sex. Is they got that anger going, but it's not the right. It's not the right one. You know what I mean? Like it's all kinds of confused right there.
That's
And
a good point. That's a good point. Don't do makeup sex.
no,
That's not passion.
well,
That's
and
just anger.
Right.
so our sexual energy is like really important for us to be aware of and protect. I mean, it's really closely related to the ego. So anything that we're doing sexually, I mean, we're manifesting that in our life. So whatever energy, emotion, and intention we're putting into that physical connection with another soul, you're manifesting something. What are you manifesting? Our emotions dictate a whole bunch. So like makeup sex doesn't sound like a really good idea, in that
Manifest
aspect.
anger, more anger.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can think back on situations that I've been in personally where I didn't know this at the time, And I can see now how certain situations, sexual situations, created more pain or destruction in the long run than beneficial things. So that's one of the things like I've become very uh conscious of, is like making sure that we're in the right mindset when we're doing those kind of things, just because it's so powerful and we don't realize what power we're playing with, you know?
Yeah, see, I
Well,
don't know. When I'm mad, no, don't touch me. No,
Yeah.
just don't.
Well,
Just
yeah,
don't.
that's, I think
Because
most
you're
people
just
are
going to
like
make it
that, but
worse, and I really just want to smack you right now. Like, I don't think I've ever done that. I really don't.
that's a
but
That's
it
just
is a
me,
big
though.
thing. Yeah, but it
No,
is
I
too
know
that
it is.
there's
And
no
everyone's
way
like,
there could
everyone
be
talks about
anything
it, but I
good
don't
that
think
came
I've
out of
ever,
that
like,
situation.
no,
But
because I'm still mad at you. Why? No, don't
it's a
want you to
big thing
touch
for
me.
lots
Like,
of
just
people.
go. But I'm weird. Right.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, you probably felt
that
intuition.
the power of intuition. So you allow your
Right?
free will to play a big role in this, the power of intuition. One thing, and
Mm-hmm.
another thing is, let's emphasize this, like you just said, Leann. Let's emphasize this, that anger and passion are the same, but a little different.
Yeah.
Because
The
what you just said is so true. If you do anger, and because men cannot connect during sexual intercourse and orgasm with the divine frequency. Cannot. Men will only connect to the divine frequency during that high
ecstasy.
ecstasy. It's called euphoria, actually. Uh,
Right.
and you get euphoria only through sex. I don't care what they're saying about euphoria, but that's only given to the sexual act. So only women can connect. That's how powerful women are. Through their orgasm, they can connect to the
The divine.
divine frequency. And we're just
Along for the ride.
along for the ride. We just explore and like the way they enjoy their thing, and we feel good about it because we participated. That's the main function, to express their joy, the women joy for connecting. The divine frequency I'm talking about. I'm not talking about God. I'm
Yeah.
talking the creator of all. That's
The
Anunnaki.
sound, the frequency of our creed.
That's Anunnaki will call their God, the creator of all.
Yeah.
Okay. So
um so number 7 is the movement of the skin, which we said is already, well, we already said is the largest organ of the body. Um, it breathes and absorbs elements all around us. So our bodies are made up of 70% water. While we have an aura that protects our skin, the skin protects the temperature of our bodies, holds our fluids within a boundary, as well as showing us or allowing us to feel the sensation of touch. Um, so we have so many so many things built into our system to alert us when danger is near, and the skin helps us feel if something is around, like we talked about before with other um, you know different temperature changes around our bodies, feeling when someone's close even if we don't hear them, that kind of stuff.
the,
Is that part of the reason why water holds memory?
no, no, the skin
Okay.
is the skin. I mean, we're talking about the skin. We're talking.
Yeah, the skin is holding in, I mean, it absorbs water and holds water inside the body, but um I think the water, I mean, us having that much water in our bodies allows us to vibrate at a allows for more vibration or adequate
Right.
vibration.
Let me say this. Let me
Right.
say this. The skin, as spiritual talking, the skin is the visible aura. It has
Okay.
a permeable
Hmm.
membrane that allows bad stuff going out and good things coming in. It's breathing. It's a breathing organ. So it's our visible aura. that communicates with our invisible aura, invisible to our
Okay.
eyes.
Yeah.
There are people
All
that
right.
can see that. So
Got
we
it.
got two protective auras. Our skin, that pretty much holds everything together too. So,
Yeah.
but it's an extra layer of material, matter kind layer of our aura.
I wanted to say this last week and I didn't. So I'm going to say it this week. um, so the way I look at it is like, okay, we were talking about orbs last week. So if we think of our body is within an orb, right? So if we look at every cell, it has that membrane around it to protect it, right? So that's you can see the aura around the cell as well as what's inside the cell. So that's kind of how I look at our auras is it's that orb and we're inside of it and then we have our skin as our visible body aura.
Well,
Well, we
let me
were talking
emphasize.
about orbs, but we weren't not on here.
Yeah, it wasn't on our yeah, we didn't record that part,
I
but
was like, wait, when
yes.
did we touch on that? I was like, wasn't that after?
I don't know. All of our
Sorry.
conversations are running together.
Right? So I know. It's crazy.
Let me just emphasize how important is the permeable membrane. Those two words, they're so important. All orbs and all cells, molecules, molecule actually is the DNA, the atoms, uh, to everything, including the organs and the skin, and everything has a permeable membrane, including our invisible aura too, because it knows, it has the knowledge, literally, to allow good things in, nutrients, wherever it is, good things in and bad things out. You, when you take a shower, you're not going to get filled in with water inside your body, but
It regulates.
you will sweat,
Yeah.
whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is, still water. So you want to allow the water in, but you will allow the water out. It's very important. It's called permeable membrane.
I mean, it absorbs a little bit, but not enough to be like doused in water on the inside. That would be a little weird. But I mean, yeah, I mean, anything we put on our skin is absorbed. So lotions, any kind of chemicals that we're messing with, all that stuff is being absorbed into our skin, which is going into our bloodstream, into anything else. So that's why it's important to be careful what we put on our bodies, just because we don't want to introduce things to our internal system that doesn't belong there. Because, I mean, it is a living, breathing organ that's outside of our body. So, you
Right.
know,
But what I'm trying to say, I'm not talking about our physical body only. I'm
right.
talking about the smallest thing in the universe, which is the thought, which inside the thought is an absolute truth. That's what creates the soul of everything. So that thought has a permeable membrane. Is
Well, yeah,
it
each soul has its own membrane. So it's like membrane with inside,
yes.
membrane with so it just, builds yeah.
To understand what a thought is, it's smaller than a string. People want a string. So a thought is smaller than a string. We breathe thoughts through our skin, through our nose, through our ears, through everywhere. We breathe the thoughts, but we cannot process it with our brain. We have to disseminate them through information, and then our brain can process information. It's an information process. It's not a thought process. You do not have a thought. You might have information from an idea that came from it. So we're not equipped to process within speeds more than the speed of light. And the thought, it goes to the speed of thought.
It's like thought is a heavier substance, so it's not easily processed through the brain before it's got to go through the pancreas first to be disseminated and then be sent to all the other brains in the body to make sure that the right places get the right information.
It's
That
my
poor
understanding even
pancreas, man.
it's my understanding even the heart has the capability to disseminate the thoughts, to decipher information from the thoughts, to bring it to its own brain. That's my understanding. I'm not sure about it, but even the heart can do that. But the pancreas, for sure, the pancreas function, spiritual function, is to take the thoughts already filtered by our spirit and our mind. Because if it doesn't, if it's not congruent with our beliefs, those thoughts are not going to be accepted in the first place because of the perimeter membrane, that our aura will not accept certain thoughts because they're not congruent with our belief system and our absolute truth.
Gotcha.
So
What feels right? What sticks to our soul?
So therefore, even the ones that are accepted into the pancreas first is going to be disseminated by information. Probably 99% of them, they're just going to just be expelled pretty quick. And those thoughts with the absolute truth inside, there's some of them that are actually souls, human souls. They go to the spinal cord thereafter. The pancreas will know that, will take them apart. And those human souls, the pancreas, we're going to go to the spinal cord all the way for the maturity. And if you have XX chromosomes, that's going to be taken out because you cannot bring the soul to a maturity level. And if you have an XY chromosome as a man, you're going to bring that soul to a maturity level. So, and that soul gonna have be conceived with the female, and he starts becoming so it's a thought primarily, but their thoughts that we're breathing, they're actually human souls. So,
Interesting.
and they
Pretty
and
crazy.
that goes, yeah, and the pancreas is going to decipher which one is what, which one goes to where, and everything.
The pancreas is the project manager for the body
Yeah.
and gets everything
That's
organized.
perfectly put. Not this way, project manager. Yeah, is the CEO of everything. That decision, working with the free will constantly. Also,
Yeah.
The way
In the spirit.
the way the ego works with the kidneys and everything, the free will works with the pancreas. Spirit works with the heart, more of them, heart and emotions.
No.
Spirit loves emotions because he has
as soon as you
senses
said
of
project manager, I instantly saw my dad and heard him say, "Oh, what the fuck?" Like, 'cause he's actually a project manager at his work. So I literally
He
just
is the
saw
pancreas.
him and heard, "What the fuck?" Like, it's crazy the things that pop
He
into
is
my
the
head.
pancreas.
It's crazy, right? Pancreas is like, "Yep, this is gonna happen."
But do you see
That's too funny.
do you see the way he works with the souls and thoughts?
I literally felt it. Like, as you were explaining it, and she said project manager, I literally got an example of it. Like, this is gonna happen.
Thank you. Yes. So he gets to maturity, but he needs a chromosome of XY to actually be able to bring that human soul to maturity. I call it a king.
That's funny.
Because he also creates a whole nother soul around it. I call them the soldiers. So, yeah, because once he gets to penetration, I mean, it's gonna be a whole new battle for survival. The king survival is, I mean, it's amazing how lucky we are to be alive. To what we have as a soul, we had to go through to actually
just to
create
see
this body. It's just a miracle.
Just the amount of things that a soul has to go through to get to the mother's uterus is a miracle in and of itself.
Yes.
But the process before that is even more miraculous. It's like, wow, holy cow!
To create all that, to just acquire all the the elements of the soul,
Yeah.
and then get into the universe outside of anybody's. And then to get into the body and require a whole nother layer. That's what I mean by maturity. The second layer that the soul requires is inside a male body. The love activates harmony. All the activators is a human,
Comes from the earthly father.
comes from the earthly father. And that's when they get all that, it's called maturity. I call it the king. So that's where the song "I Want to Be a King" comes from. But yes, so that's the process of the soul that goes through so many stages, even get here. Now we can go into the reincarnation and all that. That's a whole nother subject. The whole subject. So,
I'm waiting
because
for
it
that
requires-
subject.
We will have it one day. We've already discussed. We will have this
I've got a
conversation.
few examples.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so the last one is the movement of muscles and bones. So this is our physical base, our physical structure. The muscles and bones are the framework of our body to lean on, to be supported by, and to help us to move. The purpose of life is to propel each other and the planet forward through the galaxy and the universe. So having that structure is pretty. I mean, just like we have the foundation of our souls is honesty. Like, well, it's really absolute truth, but honesty is the first building block. It's kind of like that with the muscles and bones. We got to have that structure of our physical body to be able to build off of those things, and it'll support the rest of our being, our physical being. So those are the main components.
I want to add something about the movement of muscles and bones.
Mhm.
Because supposedly, we were gelatin. So our formation on Earth took a
Tries.
few billion years, if
Yeah.
not at least quite a few million years, to get to the point of calcifying the gelatic. We're literally like made out of water, like very gelatic people. Then we got to. It's a whole process. It's it's, I've seen it on the. It is a book, The Human Evolution, 2 million years human evolution or something. It's pretty interesting. I don't recall it. It's Helena Balashkeva, something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up to see exactly
Okay, I don't know.
what that Russian girl did, but she's got her own theology and stuff. And she had good points. I don't agree with her 99% of the time. But she's got the good points on the fact that the human evolution came.
Good points, don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, 99% of the time the books I read and stuff, I don't agree with. It's just I'm like, but they have a phrase, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't look at it that way. So out of a whole book is one phrase. I'm like,
Right.
happy with it. I got something out of it. So yeah. We were at one point not necessarily bones, muscles, we were gelatin. Yeah. So
Well,
So all that
I want to
work.
make.
So all that work
Okay.
to create us out of bone and muscle to just
yeah, we
ascend
calcify, we carbon.
to
Yeah,
ascend
we
back
made
into a light body, like I don't that I don't understand.
right. I
That was
I don't
dumb.
understand.
Can they do it?
Yeah.
I mean, if it was a challenge to see if they can do it, I mean, I guess I understand it because I personally love a challenge, but redundant would be the first word that comes to my mind. So,
Well, I wanted to make a point with this. I feel like this is. I mean, we've covered pretty much everything, but the biggest part that I feel is the most important about the body is that we are self-healing, anatomical, biological beings. So the way
Mhm.
that we were built, though, we were designed to fight against everything that's thrown at us, basically. So we were we are designed to be able to build up an immune system against many different things. Our body has built-in mechanisms to protect ourselves. Um, and I feel that most modern medicine today and a lot of other things have jeopardized our natural immune system. I mean, I watched Big Pharma kill my mother, you know, over my whole grown up years. Everything
Right.
that she went through was directly related to Big Pharma in every way possible, from everything that she ever had. So I am a big advocate for natural remedies and making sure that we're respecting our bodies in the way that they were designed, because it was designed for a reason. And when we go against our natural makeup, we're just creating disharmony in the body as well as everything else around us, all of our seven bodies.
So we were built to be resilient, but it's all
I mean,
in the we it's all in what we allow into our bodies, whether we can whether we can keep that going. There's another word for that, but I'm not going to go there.
right. Well, I mean, awareness is key there, because once we're aware of what has been done to us, or what is jeopardizing, or what we're doing to jeopardize ourselves even, then we're able to make changes to protect ourselves even more. I think that more and more people are beginning to understand that our bodies were designed a certain way to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad that it took this kind of a crisis in the world for people to realize and look at the data and actually use their critical thinking skills to figure this out.
Right.
Because I've been have literally watched it for years. Watched my mom deteriorate. I've watched other people deteriorate, all from these things that I had become aware of over time in pieces, but it wasn't until 2020 when I was like, oh, this all goes together in a really big way, you know?
Right. And as an example, recently I've been doing healing work on somebody. And I got a text message from her saying, and I created a recipe for a non-caffeinated coffee, tastes like coffee. So I sent it to her, and she's been drinking it daily. She suffers from, or she's had a pacemaker since she was 39. Um, Now, when I did the energy work on her about a year, little over a year ago, she had at that point become no longer pacer dependent. So the 1% left in her battery, it's stayed that way for over a year now. But when I gave her this alternative for coffee, I actually got a text message yesterday saying, I don't have any more heart palpitations. I'm not even suffering from the hypothyroidism anymore. And she said a couple other things, and I'm just like, see, you know, see what holistic healing can do for you. We can heal ourselves. We are meant to heal ourselves. We are meant to use natural attainment from Gaia, to keep ourselves healthy and in alignment and stuff like that. Not this nasty pharmaceutical chemically processed bullshit. It's just not supposed to be in the body, And it sucks that
Right.
so
Well,
many
I mean,
people are reliant on it.
phar- pharmakia in Greek means, yeah, it's not magic, but it's, what is it? Ah, witchcraft. So when
There you go.
when people quote that witchcraft is, against the Bible, well, actually, it's pharmacy. Anything related to big pharma, anything related to unnatural manipulations of elements. you know,
Hmm.
um,
Exactly.
when you're unnaturally manipulating elements to get them to fit together to do a specific function, you're playing with some stuff that may or may not be good for the physical body because
You're
you know what I mean? I mean,
you're trying to play God at
you're
that point, and in the
exactly.
process you're creating more issues with other organs that were infected in the first place. Now they have issues. So stop trying to
Exactly.
play God and let Gaia do for us what it's supposed to do for us naturally. But hey, what
Well,
do
I
I know?
mean, okay, case in point, when I was little, moms would get their kids together to catch the chicken pox or catch, the measles or something because it builds up the immune system for those
Mm-hmm.
specific things, right? And now there's, shots for all that stuff.
72.
you know, when I was a kid in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, it was, we had like 8 or 9 on the childhood schedule. Now, for I think it's up to 12 years old, it's 72 vaccines, 72 inoculations, but they're not really inoculations. Uh,
Not for my daughter.
well,
Not for
and
my
I
daughter.
just found a whole thing. I mean, I've had my suspicions and I've seen a lot of things on polio lately, but I found a whole thing where they have, what was it, from 1953 to 1963, I believe it was. They injected a specific type of cancer into the polio vaccine. They stopped it in 1963, but how much of those things from those our parents or grandparents in those time frames have passed through our DNA down to their children and grandchildren? You know what I mean? Because
Right.
that
Well, I
stuff
know
gets into your. Go
I
ahead.
I know my dad and my mom both have that 7-pronged shot in their arm, the scar
Yeah,
from that.
that was for smallpox, I believe, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, they don't do
I
that one
never knew what
anymore
it
that
was
I'm
for, or
aware.
I couldn't remember. Right.
Yeah,
But
no, I know Mexico is really big with that specific one. Like
Everybody.
everybody had it. Like it was weird that if somebody you met somebody that didn't have it. So and there's many things like that culturally for different vaccines or different procedures after babies are born, like um oh, what am I trying to say?
I don't know. But anyway, I
Circumcisions. That's a whole nother situation. That's a
circumstance
whole nother one, but
circumstances.
yeah.
But anyway, I just go back to what you just said a minute ago. Awareness. We have to be more aware of those things. We're gonna have to be aware of 97% of our DNA that we call junk DNA that we're not connected, and somehow, if we can reconnect to this junk DNA, our life's gonna turn
Do
like
you know how we're going to reconnect to that junk DNA?
I have no idea.
I believe first step is getting to know our own souls. That would be step number one. And then when we understand that, that connection is opened up even more so that we're able to connect and it increases our awareness levels as we go, as we're connected, we get more downloads, more uploads, whatever.
Maybe we're gonna get a pill from pharma.
No,
oh god. So you
no,
mean to
no,
say
no
that
more pharma.
you mean
Maybe pharma gonna try to heal us now
you mean
and
to say
reconnect
that
us with that junk DNA.
the first step is to know thyself?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really, I mean, once we understand the makeup of the soul, and this I'm speaking this from my personal experience. Once I understood the makeup of the soul, and I know that there's so much more to still know because more you know, you more you realize you don't know.
So
So, but understanding who we are and understanding how to move through these emotions, how to navigate through all these things with our within ourselves, it makes life a lot more easy to navigate as a whole. You have a lot more control over yourself to be able to know how you're going to react, even if you don't know what's being thrown at you at any given moment. Um, and be able to navigate with a clear head and the knowing, because that knowing is everything. And in a world as uncertain as it is right now, we have to know ourselves, because the only person we can trust is ourselves at this point, really.
Yes, stop believing and start knowing. I know, and I know, and
Yep.
we're gonna be able to connect easily with our free will and understand the free will
Yeah.
and its own decisions. And you're gonna have at some point we're gonna allow the free will to make its own decisions instead of rationalize it and reason with and
Right.
everything else to doubt their decision and get in more trouble and trying to spend time to solve all these
Yep.
problems. And that, yes, big. And another thing is trying to spend time. There are no solutions to problems. There are only alternatives. You cannot find solutions to a problem because the problem already consumed is done. It's over. You cannot go back. Once somebody's dead, is dead. It can be a little dead or a little more dead, and you cannot find solutions to that. It's only an alternative. What can you do from
Right.
now on? Yes.
Right.
I hope that's a
Yeah,
point that
makes sense.
everybody
Feel sense.
can take it. Feel themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't try to find solutions.
We're living in a time now where we have to feel everything, whether we want to feel it or not. We need to feel it to be able to know how to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
And with all due respect to all women, you are very powerful. Absolutely very powerful. Men are not, and men are being put down a lot.
Yes,
So,
they are.
just take your role, be in charge, be in your role right now, and allow the man, encourage all the men to be their own self, to be the man.
Yeah, and when we
Encourage
Stop
them, don't put them down anymore.
gaslighting them.
when we are behind our men 100% and they feel that importance and the significance, it just gives them the boost to be able to back us up and protect us as the man that they should
And
be.
move mountains.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Talk about amazing partnerships.
The
just
queen
don't play
protects,
no more.
from what
Sorry?
a friend of mine told me, the queen protects not only the kingdom but the king, so that the king can do the job that and the role that he is meant to do.
Exactly.
Perfectly put.
But we
Don't play
cannot.
the
But we cannot come in with the authoritative, I'm doing this and you're not. No, you have to stand in front, to stand behind or stand beside your king, right? The woman has to be in the right state of mind. She has to be healed. She has to be willing to do the work, because the feminine is stepping into their power before the man is. So that the woman can hold the man while he is progressing forward, if that makes any sense. If that
makes
feels
perfect
right.
sense. Yeah,
Okay.
makes perfect sense. And just all I'm trying to say, let's stop playing games in relationships.
Yes.
Let's stop having the upper hand. Can I say the word F? Yeah.
I did.
That.
I said it twice.
Yeah. Upper hand, it doesn't matter anymore.
No.
We're just playing with each other like idiots.
Well, and I know as women, we
respect your woman for her to help you. That's all I got.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
it's a two-way street.
Exactly.
You got to have that mutual respect, the mutual partnership. I mean, if we're constantly okay,
degrading.
So say there's two people on a soccer field trying to get the ball down the field, and all they do is argue the whole way to get the ball in, and somebody else comes in and takes it the other direction while they're arguing. It's not very good partnership. And I feel like that's how most marriages go today. Is they're fighting against each other and they're hurting themselves in the process. I mean, I've been there too. But I think we all have. But understanding that when we are working together and we're backing each other up, we're completely honest with each other, nothing can stop what we're doing. You know what I
Nope.
mean? I mean, it's we're not moving mountains, we're building them.
You're right. Man.
So,
We are in the
Exactly.
process of building ours. But yes, I still think that women are very powerful right now, especially right now, this moment. They're very powerful, but they have to keep a balance to understand they're not men,
yeah.
they're women. And
Yes,
just act
exactly.
like a woman, even if you feel powerful. Just don't try to just
bulldoze the situation.
just
Yeah.
because you're powerful.
Right.
'Cause-
There's a balance and level of respect. I mean, if we want respect from men, we have to give them the respect they deserve too. I mean, it's two-way street. No matter what we're
Agreed.
doing, whatever we put out, we're going to receive back. So if we're putting out something that's not helpful for us or anyone around us, then we're just going to get that right back at us, and it's going to be counterproductive.
Yep.
women are so great, and not only powerful but very not, how you call it, not durable, but endurance, resilient, and endurance. Their endurance is why God gave them to bury children.
Bear children.
Sorry, to bear children. But men would not be able
Or
to.
bear, you know.
They've done that too, unfortunately, but yeah.
Men would not be able to do that. They're so cowards. They would cry all the way from the first day to the not even. It wouldn't be no.
Talk about
They
a man
cry when
cold.
they get the sniffles. And I'm not
Man
trying
cold.
to be mean, but y'all cry when you get the sniffles. We're up running around, freaking half
You're
dead,
not
trying
mean
to
at all.
take care of the whole freaking household. And you guys, I don't feel
And
good.
I'm a
Okay,
man.
honey,
I
go
know who
lay
I
down.
am.
Right.
And I'm a man. I know who I am. I know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not. I am high tolerance to pain. Very high tolerance to pain. I broke a foot, so I'm very high tolerance to pain and everything. But I know I can cover sometime. I'm rationalizing lots of things. You know, I know my limits also. I should not have any limits though. But I know myself. I think I do know myself better than other men. I work with them too, so I think.
Yeah, you're probably the most knowing of yourself man I've ever met.
Yeah, well,
Outside of my
thank you.
father, maybe
Thank you, yeah.
he's pretty close, but
Yeah. You know, lots of men asking me for certain things, you know, to help with themselves, and I literally tell them, and they don't practice. They go right back to their old behavior. It's not easy.
it's hard to face yourself and see all the ugliness of ourselves inside and admit that we did that.
Not only that, but you have to stay principled.
Yeah.
Assertiveness is the starting point to everything. Are you principled? Are you drawing a line of knowing who you are and what you want and what you like?
Make a list.
And
what do you like? What do you not like? What do you want? What do you not want?
Stick with that, whatever, for better or worse.
But this also,
no matter what you lose, no matter what you win.
It all goes back to complacency and stagnancy. People like to be comfortable. They don't like to be out of their comfort zone. And I'm just as guilty of it sometimes. And, you know, I know at some point I got to change, but that's in my time. You're not going to force me. You're not going to push me. You know,
well, everybody has their own time for figuring that out and getting.
And I don't mean you guys, but just in general, no, I'm not going to allow anyone to push me into a level of uncomfort that makes me so uncomfortable that I start to lose myself. Do you see what I mean? Like,
right.
I'll go to my level of uncomfort when I'm ready for it.
It goes a little deeper than that. It's called instant gratification.
Oh.
Convenience, comfort, all that, blah, blah, blah. But it's deeper than that. Instant gratification. We just can't have that delayed gratification anymore. We can't delay our gratification. We want it now. Now.
Yeah. My dad says, I don't have time for instant gratification. Dad.
That's like an oxymoron.
He's like, that instant gratification's not fast enough for me. I'm like, oh, I'm so
that's the
sorry.
definition of an oxymoron. That's
I don't have time for instant gratification.
that's what it is.
What?
Instant gratification is not having time for delayed gratification. Anyway, that was good, but that doesn't mean he. Okay, anyway, we can cut this part. No. Okay.
Well, I think we've gone pretty long again, but I think that concludes the body for this week. And next time we will go into the emotions, and we may even cut that one in half and do two because it's a lot of information to cover.
Maybe do 3 parts.
You could be.
Right.
So we'll fill that one out as we go. But there's a lot to the emotions, and I feel like there's a lot of information that could be really helpful for people.
How to cope.
Yeah, how to figure out how to transfer those emotions from one thing to another. Because that's a little tricky sometimes, especially in the heat of a moment.
Yeah.
Right? It takes a lot of practice.
Involving yourself, your soul, into it, because emotion needs a lot of patience and tolerance.
Yeah.
That's where the soul works in tandem with emotions very well. It's passion. It's patience. Patience.
It works with passion too, but yeah,
with
patience.
passion. With passion from the anger side. So
yeah.
That's.
Well, thank you so much for hosting again, Christina. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Christina, and thank you everybody who's watching this.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.